Hello, you're watching Over and Over and Over Again. This is a Arsenal Aston Villa special. Hello, my name's Richard. Welcome back to my channel, Over and Over and Over Again. It features everything to do with Arsenal. And today this is a special show, obviously ahead of the match tonight against Aston Villa. I've got a very special guest joining me. Just before I do that, I just want to make sure that you are subscribing to my channel. If you like what I do, please click on the subscribe button. It's just down in the corner there. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up as well. So let's get started then. I say joining me today, I've got a very special guest. His name's Joe. He's an Aston Villa fan. I've known him for quite a while through various footballing activities. So welcome to the channel, Joe. You all right, mate?
Yes, good, Richard. You?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Good. We just get started, really. I mean, what's your Aston Villa story? How did you get to become a fan of the club? Are you from the area originally, or?
No. Living in the northeast. It was, I don't know what year it was, to be honest. New Year's Day. My dad just thought, what should we do? Something to do. Didn't have a lot on. And we went to a game up at Middlesbrough, Riverside. And it was against Aston Villa, neutral. Villa won and gone on from there, basically. So, yeah, just a day out on New Year's Day.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's a good way to sort of get support in the club, isn't it? You know, a lot of it comes from family or stuff like that, doesn't it? So it's interesting that your kind of journey is a little bit different, really, which is good.
Yes.
I mean, in terms of this season, obviously, Aston Villa started really well after last season's kind of struggled. I mean, what have you made of your start to the season?
Oh, yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Would have taken that at the start. First 4 games, obviously 4 wins. International break has maybe just put a stop to that. We've obviously lost the last 2. But after 6 games, would have taken that, obviously game in hand. Didn't know what to expect at the start of this season. Just obviously stayed up last year. And always felt, obviously too early to tell, but felt that there are weaker teams in this league this season. But obviously I thought that last year as well, and look what happened. So, yeah, brilliant start so far.
You've sort of got us to thank for keeping you up, really, because obviously we let you beat us in the second from last game, and then we beat Watford for you on the last game. So it's actually down to us that you stayed up, I think. But also as well, I mean, this season you obviously bought our goalkeeper, didn't you, Emi Martinez? Which a lot of Arsenal fans were quite upset that he left because he had a great finish to last season for us. I mean, what have you made of him so far? Is he doing a good job for you?
Yeah, brilliant. He's brought confidence to the defence through the whole team. We've had a few dodgy keepers over the last 4 or 5 years. Consistency wasn't there. Obviously, again, first 4 games he's been brilliant. Only let 2 goals in. Yeah, just the confidence he's brought to the team it shows straight away.
I mean, that was a bit of a problem issue last season, wasn't it? The goalkeeping situation, because you even had Pepe Reina towards the end, you know, to try to keep you up. I mean, you did have a few issues there. So I guess that he's come in and pretty much solved one of your big issues in the team, hasn't he, really?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we brought Heaton in last season, got injured New Year's Day, I think it was. So then we tried a few different keepers. Reina even kind of made a few mistakes, got dropped, and then back in the team. So this season should hopefully be more consistent. Got a setback for already, it seems, and that should hopefully help, definitely.
I mean, obviously Jack Grealish deciding to stay as well, that must have been a big boost because he's pretty much the talisman, isn't he, for the team? Oh,
definitely. Massive, like a new signing. 50-50 to whether he was going to go or stay. No one really knew. As time went on, it looked like he was going to stay, but you never knew till the transfer window was over. But yeah, been absolutely brilliant again this season. Kept us up last year. Just brilliant player.
Yeah, I mean, obviously now he's got his chance at England level as well, hasn't he? Which is good. I mean, I'm surprised it took that long, actually, because I mean, even last season he was one of the best English players in the forward area in the whole of the league, really. And it took until this season, really, for him to start getting recognised at England, didn't he? Really, which was great. At least he's got there now, and I'm sure he'll be a regular in the England squad now, obviously for the Euros and stuff like that at the end of the season, if he can stay fit. Of course, that's the other issue, because he does get fouled a lot, doesn't he?
He does. He gets them fouls, but Yeah, all Villa fans just couldn't believe. I think there's a bit more than just football with Southgate and Grealish. It should have been in last season, in Villa fans' opinion. It kept us up. His stats, which you obviously can't always go by, but stats were up there with all top European footballers. Got his chance in the last international break, played the first game, and quite disappointed he didn't play any part in the other two. But hopefully carries on this season. Good form for us.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it wasn't just Villa fans who were sort of a bit annoyed that he didn't get picked for England. I think there was pretty much every England fan was calling for him to be called up a long while before he was. And it's great that it's finally happened. I say, let's just hope he does get more game time, because he's the one player that can offer something a little bit different, isn't he, in the final third? Definitely. England can be a little bit stale watching them sometimes, and Jack Grealish has got that little bit extra, hasn't he, that he can bring that maybe no one else can do. So it seems crazy he doesn't play more really for England, but I'm sure it'll work itself out. I mean, have you seen much of Arsenal under Arteta this season, or even towards the back end of last season?
I've not seen a lot, no, to be honest. A bit difficult watching other games when you've got two kids at home. So I haven't seen a lot of Arsenal, to be honest, no.
I was just sort of wondering whether or not what your thoughts were on the job Arteta has done so far, obviously winning the FA Cup. And, we've started reasonably well, I guess, this season, I suppose, in the circumstances with the games that we had. We had quite a tough start.
Yeah, I think from the outside, looking at Arsenal, I think you can see the difference Arteta's made. Before, you always thought you could beat them. Consistency wasn't there. I think Arteta's got a plan. He could be like Wenger. He could be there for the next 10 years. But yeah, I think definitely other teams do think more about Arsenal now with looking a bit more solid. And he's got rid of a few players that have caused a few problems last season. So yeah, definitely see improvements, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I have as well, and it's just a matter now of how much quickly he can get his ideas across. I mean, last weekend was a great performance away at Manchester United, which is a place we never normally do well at. So that was one monkey off our back, if you like, getting a win there. So hopefully we can push on now. I mean, in terms of sort of Sunday's game, which of Arsenal players you kind of think are going to cause you the most problem?
I mean, yeah, obviously, Abanyan, always a goal threat, although he hasn't really performed, in my opinion, to how he did last season. But yeah, he's always going to be there, cutting in from out wide. William as well, obviously he's been dangerous for Chelsea for the last 6 years. I think he can always cause problems on his game. So yeah, probably them two mainly, definitely.
Willian, actually, I wouldn't necessarily say he's guaranteed to play. He did play at Manchester United last week. Obviously, Nicola Pepe's been doing quite well in the games he's got in the Europa League. So I suppose it could be he might come in to the side. I mean, we'll talk about maybe team selections a little bit later on. Just really, obviously, after the game today, it's an international break again. That'll be the third one already this season. I mean, what are you making of that? Do you think that's too many for this early on?
I think so, especially with it being 3 games as well, like last time. I mean, I know because of the current situation, things have changed and need to change, but I think Villa definitely affected Villa having that longer period off after the win against Liverpool. So yeah, I think it is a bit too much, and like you say, third one already this season, does interrupt a lot.
What tends to be the thing with for me this season is it's quite a congested season anyway. With it starting later, it's got to finish because of the Euros, and they keep having these international breaks. And then there'll be players will be complaining, and managers will be complaining that there's the fixture list is piling up later on in the season. When all the cup competitions kick in as well a bit more, and it seems crazy to me that we're not playing now when we should be playing. And also as well, obviously players jetting about all over the world in the current situation doesn't seem to be the best idea, does it really? But I suppose it is what it is. We just have to get on with it, aren't we?
Yeah, no, I think that's it. I think, like you say, they're going all around the world now. If you do well in Europe, FA Cup, it's going to be congestion definitely at the end of the season, I would have thought.
Yeah, I mean, especially for the teams that, like you said, the teams that do well, when we could have played more games already. When you think it's November and we've played 6 or 7 games in the Premier League, usually we've probably played double that by this point. So the games have got to be played, and it just seems crazy to be having breaks. It seems to be constantly once a month for international games at this moment. It seems crazy, but Another kind of issue that's kind of popping up quite a lot, obviously it affects our game later on, is the pay-per-view, isn't it? I mean, once again, you guys are being stung on the pay-per-view. I mean, this is our second one so far. What are you made of all of this? It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think for Villa as well, I think it's our fourth. I think we are joint with someone else as the most. People pay Sky, people pay BT. I think it's too much, especially £15 to pay per game on top of that. It's just people are off work, they might be on furlough, so they're not getting full wages. I think, yeah, too much to ask people to pay, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem crazy. I mean, the good news is I've been hearing that, they might be looking to scrap it now with a new lockdown and stuff like that, and going back to the situation that we had at the end of last season, which to me made sense, didn't it? All the games should be available either as part of the subscription already or some of the free to view games which they had. I think that makes sense, doesn't it, to do that now in this current situation. So hopefully it might be the last game for both of us on pay-per-view with a bit of luck. That'll be good, won't it, if it is? Because I say you guys have been stung a lot more than we have, and I mean we're annoyed enough that this is our second one. So you've had it was Leicester, was it? Your game against Leicester was one, wasn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, Leicester, and I think I'm going to say Leeds, but I can't remember now, to be honest, if that was on normal Sky. But yeah, it's definitely
might have been Leeds. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, really crazy. I mean, especially it's all in the same month as well, pretty much. So you've got your plus another 45 quid or whatever that you've had to pay on top. It's just it's crazy, isn't it? Madness. But I mean, as we say, hopefully this will be the last one now, and we can get back to what it was like before, until we can maybe get fans back in the stadiums again. I mean, in terms of obviously playing against Arsenal, I mean, what sort of memories have you got of previous meetings between the clubs over the last sort of recent times?
3 games stand out. One was in '96, League Cup semi-final. First leg was 0-0. Second leg, you were 2 up, and Dwight York got 2 goals to get us to the final, which we obviously ended up beating Leeds 3-0 in the final. So that's one of my first memories, really. And then really the FA Cup final, losing 4-0. That was a bad game. And then last season, second to last game last season, getting that win that obviously we need to let us only have a point needed in the last game. That was a massive win, second last game of the season, 1-0. So they're the 3 ones that really stand out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously as well, you guys were the first league visitors to the new Emirates Stadium as well when it opened. It was the first game of the season. You was actually the first team to play there. So that kind of sticks out for me. I mean, it was actually your defender, Oleg Melberg, who scored the first ever competitive goal at the stadium. We put you guys ahead, and it ended up in a draw, actually, that game. So that was quite, just because of the occasion of it really being the first game in the stadium and stuff like that, And obviously Arsenal and Aston Villa have a big history, don't they, over the years, played each other nearly 200 times, I think it is in total. So a lot of big, I mean, obviously Aston Villa, one of the original clubs in the league as well, and it seems a shame for me. I mean, I've always looked on Aston Villa as being one of the biggest clubs in the country, probably because when I was growing up, when they won the league and they won in the European Cup and all that kind of stuff, I kind of grew up with that Aston Villa side. So to me, they've always been a massive club, and it's just a shame that maybe in more recent years they've had a bit more of a hard time of it all. It seemed crazy that you guys are in the Championship for about 4 or 5 years, and the stadium that you've got and the fan base that you've got, but hopefully now you stayed up last year, you pushed on this year. So, I mean, how do you see the rest of the season panning out? I mean, I know there has been some crazy results, hasn't there, so far already this season? Obviously, you guys beating Liverpool 7-2. I mean, that's probably the craziest result ever in the Premier League history, really. I mean, it seems to be settling down a bit more now, doesn't it, with the last couple of weekends, the big teams tend to be winning most of the games that you'd expect them to now. Where do you see Aston Villa going from here? I mean, it has been a great start, as you said. Are they going to maintain that? Do you think you'll be safe in mid-table, or do you think you're going to slip back towards the bottom half again where you were last year?
It's been a funny season for everyone already. Leicester got 5 at Man City. Spurs got 6 against Man U. So it's going to be a strange season going forward. Anything top 12, I'll be happy with. The last 2 games, we haven't performed the last 2 games, and obviously got you tonight, so that's going to be a difficult one. I don't know. I think it's going to carry on being a funny season, to be honest. So it's difficult to know who's going to be up there, down there. It's going to be really hard to tell, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot more open this season. Anybody is capable of beating anybody on any given game. I think that seems to be what we've seen so far. You know, I say even the traditionally bigger teams chasing the title have already had a couple of big defeats, haven't they? So this is going to be probably an open season. I mean, I think maybe with you guys having survived last season in the way that you did, quite often you see clubs do that and then they end up getting themselves back established in the Premier League over a number of years. And you can see that, I can see that happening with Aston Villa. I think you've got some very good players, not only Jack Grealish. I mean, I think throughout the team, you've got some good players as well. So I quite like Douglas Luiz, actually, in midfield. I think he's a decent player, isn't he? And he used to play for Man City and when Arteta was there as well. So I don't know whether or not he might end up coming to Arsenal at some point. I mean, what do you make of him?
Yeah, he came last summer. Year and 18 months ago. He showed good signs last season at the start, but then he drifted off and he was in and out of the team really. But then after lockdown, he was just a different player. He was just brilliant, ball winning. You know, sat in front of the defence, and then he's carried on this season. He's got into the Brazil squad. I think he's massive potential and. He's been really good for us this season so far. Definitely one for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say there was talk of him, obviously, over the summer, maybe potentially moving to Arsenal at some point. Maybe that's because of his links with Arteta previously. I don't know, but I did keep quite a watch on him sort of towards the end of last season. I thought he looked a good player, actually. Sort of maybe a sort of player that we needed, but now we've got Thomas Partey, maybe not so much, but you can never have too many good players. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens at some point, maybe. But we'll see. I mean,
we'll see.
Well, exactly. In terms of obviously, you know, there's been a few players over the years that have played for both Arsenal and Aston Villa. There's a couple really that maybe sort of really stand out. I mean, for me, one of my favourite ever Arsenal players, Paul Merson. Of course, he played to Arsenal over a number of years before he did move initially to Middlesbrough and then obviously went to Aston Villa. I mean, from my point of view, I think he's an absolute legend at Arsenal. Love the guy. I think he's a fantastic player. It was a bit later in his career when he came over to you guys. I mean, what's your kind of memories of Paul Merson at Villa?
Yeah, joined us 98, I think it was. He had 2 or 3 seasons, had about 100 appearances. Yeah, helped us get to the FA Cup in 2000 for the last ever game at Wembley, the old Wembley. Brilliant, leader, experience, and some good goals. Should have had probably more England caps in my opinion. Just obviously had a difficult time in his personal life. He was quoted saying that his best time at football club was at Villa. So I don't know if obviously difficult time at Arsenal.
He didn't mean it. It was Arsenal, really.
Definitely Villa. So just some really good goals. You know, outside the box, cutting inside from the left, and really good player.
Yeah, I mean, I think technically he was amazing. I mean, a fantastic player for Arsenal. I remember him scoring a couple of times against us as well. I mean, it was one time at Highbury, actually, when he scored for Aston Villa, one game. And he sort of celebrated, but not celebrated as much as he might have done, which was a little bit annoying because he shouldn't have celebrated at all. But yeah, I mean, I love the guy. I mean, I know sometimes he gets a bit of criticism for his punditry now, but he's definitely, an Arsenal legend. And possibly another player who maybe the opposite way round had probably his best years at Villa and then came to Arsenal later in his career. David Platt, of course, a big England, great player for England as well, wasn't he? I mean, what is your sort of thoughts about him playing for Villa? He must be one of the legends, is he?
Yeah, it's kind of just a bit before my time, really. I probably remember him more playing for England in the 1990 World Cup in Italy. And then obviously he left Villa after that to go to Italy. So again, great goal-scoring midfielder. I remember him scoring a good goal for Arsenal against Man U, if I remember correctly. Right, so that actually stands out quite a lot for me, that goal. But again, just brilliant attacking midfielder, pops up all over the pitch, and good memories from that.
Yeah. I mean, I say he was maybe a little bit past his best when he came to Arsenal, unfortunately. But for a year or two, he did well. I thought like you said, goals from midfield. That goal against Manchester United was really important for us winning the league that year in the end as well. So he did contribute quite a lot. And unfortunately, his kind of stint in management didn't quite go too well afterwards, did it? When I think he was player manager at Nottingham Forest and few other players that didn't really quite work for him. Did it? Is he back at Man City now? Is he still there, or did he move on? Because he was at Man City, wasn't he, for a while?
To be honest, I don't know. Not too sure really, but he had a bit of a stint at the England under 21s, didn't he? And did all right there from memory.
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah, he did. Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm surprised maybe he hasn't had more coaching jobs with England, maybe, because he's a great player for England, wasn't he? As you said, I mean, the 1990 World Cup, it was brilliant, wasn't it? He was brilliant in that tournament as well. Him and Gaza really made the difference.
Yeah.
For us. Obviously, Lineker as well. We don't want to say it, but Lineker as well. He played his part, didn't he?
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, he was a great player, wasn't he? In terms of, I know you sort of said it's maybe a little bit difficult to predict. I mean, what would be your top 4 for this season, do you think, on what you've seen so far? I know it's difficult to say, isn't it, at this moment in time? It seems really open. I suppose Villa are going to be in there, are they?
Top 4, blimey. I think Liverpool, Man City is still going to be up there. I think they've just got that attacking quality. I think Liverpool, I think even with their injuries, I think they've still got enough to still be definitely up there and probably still favourites. Man City, Chelsea, I think they're looking all right. Spurs, yeah, they've had some good wins. Arsenal are going to be thereabouts, I think. So I'll probably put Arsenal in top 5, maybe, if I can do a top 5. Villa, yeah, if we got a European place, that would be absolutely brilliant. But I think, yeah, Villa won't be there that close, I don't think. But we'll see.
I mean, I think this season, more than any other season, I think, the race for the top 4 actually is going to, there's probably 8 or 9 teams when you look at it that could potentially finish in the top 4. I agree. I think Liverpool and Man City, despite they haven't had the greatest of starts, I still think they're still better than everybody else. I think they've got the best squads out of everybody else, and I do think they will be first and second. But I think third and fourth is pretty much, like you said, Chelsea, Tottenham are in with a shout, we're in with a shout. I think maybe Wolves, they're a good side. They might have a shout. I mean, there's a lot, isn't there? Leicester, obviously, they beat us a couple of weeks ago. They beat Man City, didn't they, as well? They've had a decent start. They're going to be there and thereabouts, aren't they? But it's difficult to predict. I mean, in terms of Aston Villa, I actually think you guys will be safe. Maybe 10th, something like that, 9th or 10th, maybe at the end, somewhere around there. I would have thought, with the squad that you've got and the players that you've got, I think if you can stay clear of injuries to some of your key players, I think you'll be perfectly fine. And I think mid-table will be a good season, wouldn't it? Consolidation, really, and then maybe push on and maybe try for a European place next year, possibly. If you can keep the team together. What about relegation? Obviously, I know you don't want to be involved in that this year, do you? I mean, who do you think might be the 3 to drop out this year?
I think there's Fulham and West Brom. I think Sheffield United as well. I think they're struggling to score goals. Sheffield United, I've talked to a few friends and they're right, they've got a good setup and they should be all right, but I'm just not sure if they'll do it this year. I think just they've struggled to score goals and obviously that's the main thing. So probably them 3, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Burnley as well are in the same situation as Sheffield United a bit, aren't they? They can't score goals. I actually think Fulham, at the beginning of the season, I thought Fulham were nailed on to go down, but I thought they've had a decent transfer window, actually. They brought a couple of decent players in and they've looked a lot better, and I think they've got a chance of surviving. I know it's going to be tough for them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe pull a bit of a surprise and actually stay up in the end. I mean, I think West Brom look as though they're in trouble. They've not won a game yet, have they? So I think they're in trouble. Sheffield United, I think they've got the second season kind of problem, haven't they? They had a great season last year. It's maintaining it. I think they've been found out a little bit. They've lost the goalkeeper that did well from last year. He's gone back to Man U. And they've had a couple of injuries. Burnley as well as struggling. So I think it's going to maybe be 3 out of them 4 that's probably going to end up going down. But sometimes you get a team that maybe start the season in mid-table and have a really poor run at the end. Is it Bournemouth? Who, they look fairly safe early part of the season, and then they got right down. And, looking at the table now, you could possibly say that could be Man United because they're kind of in that sort of position, aren't they? So maybe it might be them this year that drops out. That'd be a shame, wouldn't it?
Signs are looking good.
Yeah, they are at the moment. Yeah, until they get rid of Ollie, probably, and then they'll get then they'll probably improve, unfortunately. In terms of the game later on today, what do you think the Aston Villa lineup could be likely to be? I mean, I don't know what sort of injury that you've got at the moment.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I've only one injured out, Traore, who went off in the last game. So
Right.
Probably got your guy, goalkeeper in goal. Cash and Target fullbacks, and then Mings and Konza at the back. That's been the stats, the back five for every game, I think. Midfield, Douglas Luiz, Ross Barkley and John McGinn in midfield. And then probably Grealish on the left, Watkins up front, and then Trezeguet will come back in on the right. That's what it's been like every game pretty much. I can't see too many changes really. Houlihan, unlucky to get dropped against Liverpool, I think it was, when Barkley first came in, but obviously Barkley got 2 goals that game. So Houlihan is probably the more likely one to maybe break back into the team, but probably that starting 11 really.
I mean, what you've been making of Ross Barkley then? Obviously, he's had quite an impact, hasn't he, since he's joined Villa?
Yeah, debut Liverpool. Him straight away. Him, Grealish, and Watkins up front looked like they're going to make a really good partnership up there, and could read each other well. He didn't do too much in the Leicester game, but he obviously got the last-minute winner, so very important. And then, like I say, the last 2 games again just hasn't quite been there, but I think massive improvement to the team on loan. Yeah, really pleased with the signing of him, definitely.
And obviously, Ollie Watkins you mentioned there as well. I mean, he's done well, hasn't he, since coming up from the Championship straight into the Premier League? I mean, what an impact he's made already. He's got a lot of goals, hasn't he?
Yeah, big deal. We've missed someone like him really up front for a number of years. You know, doesn't stop moving. He's getting into space. Good touch, good in the air as well. Great signing. Got obviously hat-trick against Liverpool, which was, unbelievable. So, again, like I just said, really good partnership already building between these new players. So, looking good.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've made good signings since last season, and you can tell by the improvements in the results at the start of the season. I mean, funnily enough, you say the last 2 games, which obviously you've lost them both, conceded a few goals, but they've both been at home. I mean, do you not feel maybe away from home might be more suited to the way you play because you've got a lot of pace on the break and stuff like that? Because you've won every away game, haven't you, so far?
Yeah, definitely. We've got a lot of the signings have been a lot of attack-minding signings. Barkley, can get forward. Obviously, Grealish can run the length of the pitch with the ball. The right back, Matty Cash, really good going forward, getting crosses in. So, all the signings have been pretty much attack-minded and, breaking away, like I say, away games might suit us better. So, definitely looking that way.
I mean, how do you think Villa will approach the game? Because a lot of teams come to the Emirates and sit deep, allow us to have the ball, and then maybe try to get a goal. I mean, Leicester did it against us a few weeks ago. That tends to be Sheffield United as well, was the same. Do you think Aston Villa will come with that mindset to keep it tight and try and nick a goal? Or do you think that they might go for it a bit more? Because like you said, with the great attacking players that you've got, it might be an opportunity to get at us because, we haven't been playing that well at home.
I think with the signings we've had, I think that's the kind of the approach we're doing to most games, really. Just sit back a bit, let them have the ball, and then attack. Grealish on the left. I think that's probably what we will come into the game doing tonight. But we kind of do that most games anyway, home or away. Just sit deep, pick up the ball on the edge of the box, and then away we go. So that's probably what we'll be looking at doing, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that's what kind of worries me a bit. They're the games that we struggle to break teams down a little bit. We don't quite have enough creativity there. Having said that, though, Thomas Partey's just come in. He might be the one. I mean, he played really well last week, so maybe he's going to make the difference. We'll see. But I think it's going to be a very open game, actually. I think you guys play quite an attacking style, as you said. We've got some great attacking players, so I think it could be a good game. I mean, last season's game at the Emirates was a really good game, wasn't it? Where I know we were down to 10 men for a lot of it, but we ended up coming back to win 3-2. But that was a great game, and I can see it maybe being a similar type of game in terms of being quite open. And I think there'll be chances, and be interesting to see how Martinez does back at the Emirates again so soon after leaving. But he knows the crowd, he knows the pitch and everything like that. I just wonder, what his performance might be like. But he has played well, like you said, and the Arsenal fans still really, really love him. So. It's a shame the fans aren't there because he'd have got a great reception, I'm sure, from the crowd. Because he's still a big popular figure, really, and it's a shame that he felt the need to have to leave. But fair play to him. He's got to Villa playing every week, playing well. Part of a team that's doing well, so you've got to give him credit for that. And I don't blame him for leaving because he wasn't going to be our first choice. He was always going to be backup goalkeeper, and you can't blame him, can you, for wanting to play every week? It's proved to be a pretty good move for him, actually, hasn't it? Which is good.
Yeah, I think all round it's worked out well. You know, you got fairly decent money for him, and yeah, like I say, it's best for him and for Villa. So yeah, I think all round it worked out well.
And I'm sure he'll want to give a good performance, won't he, to maybe prove Arteta wrong a little bit, not to make him the first choice. You know, it'd be interesting to see how well he does, because he could be the difference between you guys winning or us winning or whatever. He could be the difference, couldn't he? Because he's an important player. So be interesting. I'm sure he's going to want to give a really good performance, because a lot of Arsenal fans have still been going on about the fact that we've got rid of him. We keep saying we've got rid of the wrong goalkeeper. We should have kept him and got rid of Leno. And because Leno hasn't had the greatest starts to this season, I've got to be honest. He's looked a little bit shaky. And I think Martinez is better with the ball at his feet as well than what Leno is. So be interesting to see how that goes, because a big shootout between the goalkeepers, actually. So I'm hoping Leno does well, because I don't like the stick he's been getting. But I mean, I'm pleased for Emi, because he was a great servant for Arsenal over a long time. So I'm pleased for him. Finally, then, what would be your score prediction for later? Then I know you're probably going to say you're going to win.
I think it depends on our defence, because obviously the last two games we have let in a lot of goals. I think if we can keep it tight at the back, counter-attack, I can see both teams scoring, so I'll probably have to go with a 2-1 Villa win.
Well, it's happened before. You've beaten us a couple of times in recent years, so that certainly could be. I mean, I'm just a little bit. What gives me hope, I suppose, is the fact that you have conceded 7 goals in the last 2 games, and Patrick Bamford scored 3 of them. So if he can score 3 goals, then I'm pretty sure Aubameyang can score a few. But
fair point.
I think. Well, I do think it'll be a tight game. Actually, I think it'll be close. I do feel that maybe being away from home suits Aston Villa a little bit more, and I think you're going to be dangerous on a counter attack, and it is our responsibility to take the game more to you guys as we're at home and stuff like that. So I think that we're going to have to watch out. I agree. I think both teams will score, and I think there could be goals in this game. I mean, I actually did predict. I did a show the other night. I actually predicted 2-1 to Arsenal, funnily enough. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was more goals than that. Maybe a 3-2 or something. Wouldn't surprise me. Aston Villa have scored a lot of goals this season. Even last week when you were losing 4-0, you came back and scored 3. So there's definitely goals in the Villa team. Obviously, you scored 7 against Liverpool. So
yes,
I am a little bit worried about your attacking threat, actually. Obviously, mainly Grealish, but not just him. I mean, McGinn as well. He's a great player, isn't he? So I do feel as though there will definitely be goals, but we've defended well this season. So I'm gonna say we might just nick it 2-1, but I think it's going to be a tight, tense game, actually. I think it's going to be a bit like last week. We could be hanging on for the last few minutes if we're winning. Or maybe you're winning and we're bombarding your goal trying to get one. I don't know. Hopefully, Emi might drop one in for us with a bit of luck. but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So
yes,
brilliant. Anyway, I mean, thanks for coming on today, Joe. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I'm glad that you're well. Obviously, enjoy the game later on. Hopefully, you don't enjoy it too much, because we don't want that do we? And good luck, obviously, you guys for the rest of the season. Obviously, after tonight, I hope you have a good season and you do well. As long as you don't finish above us, that's fine. So I'm pretty sure you're not going to have the similar problems that you had last season. So I'll say
hopefully not.
No, I mean, I think obviously injuries are going to be key again, aren't they? As long as you keep your main players fit, I think you'll be fine. And, I'm sure you can take points off a lot of teams this season. Just hopefully, I'll say not us, please, because we need to keep a little run going in the run up to this international break and try to get another win. So it's a big game for Arsenal actually as well. So it'd be interesting. I'm sure it'll be a good game. I think there's going to be goals in it, so it's going to be exciting to watch. So enjoy the game anyway, and say thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. So everyone watching, please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. If you've got any comments to make about the game later on, there's score predictions, whether you think Joe's right or whether I'm right, maybe see what you think. Put your comments in there as well. We'll see who's right later on. I'll be coming back on doing a show tomorrow, just looking back on the game in a bit more detail. Hopefully a good performance from Arsenal, regardless of the result. That's what we want to see. and we'll see what happens there. Obviously, there's an international break, as we said, so there's not a lot of football over the next week or so. So I'm going to have to come up with a few different ideas. I'll probably have a few more live shows coming up as well. And our next game back is actually Leeds, which is going to be quite a difficult game as well. So they're not getting any easier. So, but we'll see. We'll look at that, obviously, once we've got the international break out of the way. So thanks for watching the show. I say thanks to Joe again for coming on. Absolute pleasure. And thanks for your support of the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Give this video the thumbs up. And of course, in the meantime, as always, come on, you Gunners. Let's win tonight. Come on. You've been watching over and over and over again the Positive Arsenal channel.